Come on in, fam. Hit that like button. Hit that like button. Islam, brother Jerry. Islam, Moors. Islam. Islam. Good to see y'all again. Come on in. Come on in. Hope all is well. I'm about to go in on a few things. Did y'all see the video I posted yesterday? The brother Tariq, the rights to travel video. Did y'all see it? If so, hit that thumbs up. Let me know how y'all liked it. I think the brother really stood squarely, Love, much love to the brother. Much love to the brother. Islam Tram, brother Casper, Islam Mo, brother Jerry, Islam, L, I got you. Yeah, I'm about to go in. What prompted me to do this video is the travel video that brother Tariq sent to me. And it's getting wonderful views right now, and I'm loving that, We really shouldn't have to go to that extent to always try to prove to the people that, this is true. But you know what? Slap them in the face again, I'm ready to go in. I'm ready to go in on, I'm ready to go in. We just gotta keep slapping them with the truth, really mainly for those that are new to the movement. That's it's more of a motivational tool, to study and see how brothers like Brother Tariq, myself, and other Moors that are active in that capacity. That's not the only capacity, but when we get victories in that field, it feels good. It feels good, Islam, Kunda Cyrus 13, Islam, 13 love to you. No doubt. It's motivating. It's motivating. Y'all hit that like button. Hit that like button. See, we got 18 watching now. Hit the like button, before I go in. This video is entitled Corporations, Charters, and Seals. Before I go into that, without going to Prophet Noble Drew Ali, because some say that Drew Ali didn't really talk about law, so I'll start off going into the Divine Warning and a few more parts of his literature aiming at law, and should we or should we not? So if we should, why don't we just go to the prophet himself, all right, and read his work directly to see exactly what it is, right? All right, look, this is what we're going to do. We're going to start off with the Divine Warning. Now, remember, if the prophet spoke about it, why should there be any confusion as to us enforcing or not? All right. So I'm going straight into it, the Divine Warning. I'm just going to read a few excerpts, not the entire literature itself, but just a few excerpts. All right. It states, well, he stated, you who doubt whether I, the prophet, and my principles are right for the redemption of my people, go to those that know law in the city hall and among the officials in your government and ask them under an intelligent tone, and they will be glad to render you a favorable reply, for they are glad to see me bring you out of darkness into light. Money does not make the man. It is free national standards and power that makes a man and a nation. The wealth of all nations, government, gold and silver and commerce belong to the citizens alone, and without your national citizenship by name and principles, you have no true wealth. And I am hereby calling on all true citizens that stand for a national free government and the enforcement of the Constitution to help me in my great missionary work, because I need all support from all true American citizens of the United States of America. Help me to save my people who have fallen from the constitutional laws of government. I am depending on your support to get them back to the constitutional fold again, that they will learn to love instead of hate and will live according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, supporting our free national Constitution of the United States of America. Y'all tell me whether or not, is that in any type of relation to the American Constitution? Should we enforce it? Yes or no? Yes or no? Should we enforce it? Now, what prompted me to do this video is the video I just posted yesterday of the brother Tariq, the travel video, showing and proving that when you stand on your square firmly under an intelligent tone, you get a favorable reply. All right? There's no monkey business around here. No monkey business, people. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into Plea to a Nation, just an excerpt. All right, I'm going to Plea to a Nation with an excerpt. Now going to Message to America with a small excerpt. We're going back to this law thing. Our divine and national movement stands for the specific grand principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And I, the prophet, am applying to all loyal, faithful Moors, members, and the American citizens to help me in my great uplifting acts of uplifting fallen humanity among the Asiatic race and the nation, for I have suffered much and severely in the past through misunderstanding of what the movement was dedicated to. All right. So you have some Moors that are in the physical temples that have something else to say regarding this message. So that's why I want to go back to where it says, to all loyal, faithful Moors, all right, members, all right, and the American citizens. All right, so they'll sum that up. All right. Small excerpt from Message to America. When I go into this, then we'll go into the meat of this video. All right. We organized at the Moorish Temple of Science in the year of 1925 and were legally incorporated as a civic organization under the laws of the state of Illinois on November 29, 1926. The name Moorish Temple of Science was changed to the Moorish Science Temple of America, May 1928, in accordance with the legal requirements of the Secretary of State. All right. Now, I'm gonna show y'all a couple of pictures of something. Y'all come on in, y'all. Islam. Now, once we go back to the divine warning, where it says, go to those that know law in the city hall and among the officials in your government and ask them under an intelligent tone. Look at this, people. I want y'all to know. I want y'all to see something. What does this look like to you? Anybody? Can anyone tell me, what is this? Don't be afraid, speak. What is it? These are seals. These are sealed, people. Look at it. You see a boat, right? You see the word commerce, right? You see the incorporation date. Now you got to ask yourself, why is there a boat? Why is it water? Why do you see commerce? Does this relate to admiralty? Yes, it does. It relates to admiralty and maritime. Okay. Look at it again. You see where it says commerce? So we're about to break down the seal of this particular county and city. All right. And we're gonna see why it says commerce. All right. You see the incorporation date? That's what it is, people. All right. He said go to the ones in City Hall. All right. Watch this. I got another. Here's another. The Great Seal of the State of Tennessee. Again, you see 1796, which was the incorporated date for that particular state. All right. And you see the boat. Of course, you see agriculture. The boat is representing what? Admiralty, maritime, okay? Dealing with rivers, seas, and so on, okay? This is a seal. This is a seal, all right? Now I have one more. I got one more. Watch this. I wanted to pull this up with the brother from the Colorado territory. This is a seal. It has the incorporation date at the bottom, 1876, and so on. You see the all seeing eye of Horus, etc. What we're going to do first is this. Since I'm showing you the pictures, because all of your corporate cities have seals. So I want you to be able to see the seal and understand what it is. All right. So I'm going to go into the definition of seal first, the corporate seals. What is a seal? Most people probably never heard of a seal, especially the corporate seal. Islam Moors, hit that thumbs up. Yeah, that's right. They flash it in your face. That's right. I agree with that. Corporate seal, the official or common seal of an incorporated company or association. All right, I'm gonna show it to you and I'm gonna read it again. The official or common seal of an incorporated company or association. All right, so this is a company, right? You see where it says Memphis, it says Shelby County. People get it confused and they think that is land. See right here? That's the incorporation date, 1796. The official or common seal of an incorporated company or association. All right, Islam, Brother Nasir. But we're about to break this down. We're about to break this down tonight, like for real. All right, now remember what I spoke about the boat and you have the water. Why do you have the boats on these particular seals? Because it's dealing with admiralty law. It's dealing with maritime law. People, y'all got to get symbol literate. All right. You got to become symbol literate. We're going into admiralty. The definition of admiralty. Admiralty, a court which has a very extensive jurisdiction of maritime causes, civil and criminal controversies arising out of the acts done upon or relating to the sea, and questions of prize. It is properly the successor of the consular courts, which were emphatically the courts of merchants and seagoing persons, established in the principal maritime cities on the revival of commerce. What that say? These people doing commerce on your land. You see that? It says commerce. All right. It says revival of commerce after the fall of the Western Empire, to supply the want of tribunals that might decide causes arising out of maritime commerce. Admiralty does not extend to all navigable waters, but is limited to the ocean, navigable rivers running into the ocean, and the Great Lakes. What you see, right? You see the boat, you see the water, you see commerce. That's what it is. That's what it is. We're going to break it down today. All right, we're going to go into maritime definition. Maritime. Now, what the brother Tariq dealt with on the side of the road, that's exactly what it was. He was dealing with admiralty, like for real, contracts. You know, they place traffic under a criminal sort of guideline, but of course it's civil. I'm so glad that brother stood his square. I'm so glad he stood his square, like for real. All right, we're going to go into the maritime definition. Maritime, pertaining to the sea or ocean or navigation thereof, or to commerce conducted by navigation of sea, or in America of the Great Lakes and rivers. Let me repeat that. Maritime, pertaining to the sea or ocean or the navigation thereof, or to commerce conducted by the navigation of the sea, or in America of the Great Lakes and rivers. It is nearly equivalent to marine in many connections and uses. In others, the two words are used as quite distinct. All right. Maritime contract, a contract relating to business of navigation. All right. Navigation. So I got a question. I got a question for y'all. Y'all come on in, hit that thumbs up. Hit that thumbs up. I appreciate y'all coming out. All right, I got a question. My question is this. How did the corporate city obtain its seal? This thing right here. How did the corporate city obtain its seal? All right, the answer is through its charter. All right. And the charter come from the General Assembly. We got to know this, people. We got to know this. People want to take you away from the law aspect of it, but you got to deal with it one way or another. All right. We're going to go into words and phrases. How many of y'all know about the words and phrases series? Anybody? Anybody know about the words and phrases series? Corpus Juris Secundum, American Jurisprudence. Anybody know? Let me know. Let me know. I want to see where you at. We're going to go into words and phrases. All right, I'm going to ask that question again. How did the corporate city obtain its seal? All right, it obtained its seal through its charter, which was created by the General Assembly. Words and phrases, people. You got to get up on your word game. You see that right there where it says caveat emptor? Prophet Noble Drew Ali spoke about that. Get on your words and phrase game. All right. It says a charter is defined as an act of a legislative body creating a municipality or other corporation and defining its power and privileges. People, this is a corporation. This is not land. That city hall building, corporation. 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 A charter is the organic law of a city, and it is no less the organic law because it is contained in a general statute, and it is not inappropriate to refer to such a statute as a charter. A charter is a legislative grant, and in case of doubt, it is to be construed most strongly against the grantee, but not against the state. Charters are not created by the act of the corporation or association, but are granted by the sovereign power of the state. That's why I always say, if you're dealing with the city, right? If you're dealing with the city, you need to go over their head to that corporate state. All right, this is why. Let me read this again. This is why. Charters are not created by the act of the corporation, or association, but are granted by the sovereign power of the state, which is the General Assembly. It's the General Assembly, people. All right, more on charters. The charter of a corporation is a contract between it and the state. It and the state. All right. A corporate charter is a contract within the meaning of that clause of Article 110 of the United States Constitution, which declares that no state shall pass any law impairing the obligation of contracts, so that a state law altering such a charter in a material respect without the consent of the corporation is unconstitutional and void. The term charter, as applied to corporations, means grant made by sovereign authority, either to the whole people or to a portion of them, securing them the enjoyment of certain rights. All right, that goes back to the quo warranto. Specifically, that's on rvbaypublication.com. In that particular writ, it's sort of like a delegation of authority order, but it acts and demands for more from the public servant. All right. So it demands the delegation of authority order, which they must have, right, in order to be lawful. It asks for the charter. All right. And the reason we ask for the charter to prove that they are what? A corpse. All right. This is why they don't want to produce it. All right. This is why they don't want to produce it. And also we ask for the bonding information. All right. The delegation of authority order, the bonding information, and its charter. All right. Because the charter is going to outline everything that business can do and cannot do that's granted by the higher sovereign, which is the General Assembly. I got it. King Bay, Islam, bro. Islam, bro. Yeah, that's right. That's right. They don't have it. Well, actually, it depends on what you're speaking about. You got to go be a little more specific with me, Brother King Bay. They don't have it. Be a little more specific. All right. The charter of a corporation is its constitution or organic law, giving it to all the power it possesses, unless other statutes are applicable to it. And the municipalities' liabilities or exemptions from liability must be found therein. No, you're dealing with a corporation, people. Let me read that one again. I want to see if y'all ears open and see if your third eye. I want to see if your third eye paying attention. The charter of a corporation is its constitution or organic law, given to it all the powers it possesses, unless other statutes are applicable to it, and the municipality's liabilities or exemptions from liability must be found therein. Got to be found therein, people. City can exercise only such powers as are delegated to it by the Constitution and laws of the state and its charter, which, like federal constitution, is grant of power as distinguished from state constitution, which is limitation of power. All right. Y'all get that? Y'all get that? Check me out. City can exercise only such powers as are delegated to it by the Constitution and laws of the state and its charter, which, like federal constitution, is grant of power as distinguished from state constitution, which is limitation of power. Oh, that's deep. I don't know if y'all caught that or not. That's deep. You know how some people say, yeah, you can force the state constitution. What you say, Brother Nasir? Limitation of power in state that's most definitely correct. That's correct. And it's coming straight out of words and phrases. It's coming out of words and phrases. That's why as Moors, mainly we deal with the federal constitution. All right. That's their constitution. That state constitution is their constitution. We deal with the federal constitution, and the federal constitution jurisdiction lies extensively with admiralty. All right. If you want to be technical about it, is dealing with admiralty. That's why normally we enforce Article 3, Section 2, and we're dealing with the original jurisdiction, which is the Supreme Court. All right. With the 12 justices, not the 5, with the 12. All right. A municipal charter is not only the measure of corporate powers, but is also the beginning and the end of corporate life. Now, let me run that back to you. A municipal charter is not only the measure of corporate powers, but it's also the beginning and the end of corporate life. And that's the truth. That's the truth, people. You cannot let these people keep running over you. These people within these corporations, you cannot allow it to happen. If you go back to the video, the brother Tariq, you'll see where the European policy enforcer, his reply was, well, if you come through our state or our municipality, and we know that municipal means Roman vineyard, all right, because they're Romans or from that bloodline, that pedigree. If you come through our state, would you please do this? All right, that's their corporate thing. That's their corporate thing, not ours. This is our land. They're just setting up shop. Period. All right, also, I'm going to go into General Assembly definition so you can have an idea, a little small idea of what General Assembly is. All right. Yes, sir, Brother Nasir. State-owned roads. Yeah, hit them with the Clearfield Doctrine, no doubt. All right, we're going to go into General Assembly. And then, you know what? We got a lot of more haters out here. We got a lot of, like, it's crazy now. Like, I sit back and I'm like, wow. Like, these people really, like, that's why I really don't, like, when I teach or when I come with a certain message, it's not for the trolls. It's really for the beginners, the people that are just coming into the movement with their eyes wide open, or people that are motivated enough to not only, become more active, especially within the quote unquote community. That's my thing. That's what I strive to do. We're going to go into the definition of General Assembly. Remember, people, the charter comes from the General Assembly. That's the sovereign power to that corporate city, so to speak. General Assembly, short definition: State Senate, House of Representatives. There you go. State Senate, House of Representatives, the policy-making body of the United Nations. This is going into something else, but just check it out. The policy-making body of the United Nations, it is composed of from 1 to 5 delegates from each member nation, although each member nation has but 1 vote. All right. So again, General Assembly is basically the State Senate and the House of Representatives. This is who get together and create the charters for these private corporations that call the city of or state of, whatever they want to call themselves. All right. This is where it comes from. All right. Now what I'm going to do is this. Before I go into this charter, that's the Charter of Memphis. That's the Charter of Memphis. You know what? When I found this, it took me a minute. I had to really do some investigating, because they didn't really have this in the open for people to just read. All right, I had to go to like the public library, but they got this room inside of the public library that's off to itself, that's real elegant. It's called the Memphis and Shelby County Room. All right, you probably can see it at the bottom. It's called the Memphis and Shelby County Room, and it got all sorts of historical documents and things that happened back in the day within this territory. And they have it locked up, and whatever you want to check out, you can check it out. They have the microfilm, they have newspapers from the early 1900s, late 1800s, and so on. So as I was digging, I found this right here. And this is what I was looking for. This is the charter. I wanted to know what it was like, back in this particular time, the charter of the town of Memphis, so to speak. So it's all about understanding jurisdiction. If you come up under the jurisdiction means the right to decide. If you come up under their right to decide, then it's going to apply to you. All right. It's going to apply to you. That's why we need our free national name and stand on our principles. All right. Now, on the very first page, this is what it states. I'm going to let you see it first, and then I'm going to read the very first paragraph. All right. It says, be it enacted by the General Assembly of the state of Tennessee that the town of Memphis in the county of Shelby and the inhabitants thereof are hereby constituted a body politic and corporate by the style and name of the mayor and aldermen of the town of Memphis, and shall have perpetual succession by their corporate name, may sue and be sued, plead and be impleaded, grant, receive, purchase, and hold real, mixed, and personal property, and dispose of the same for the benefit of the town, and use a town seal. All right, let me point that out so you can see it. See, this is what they're talking about. They're talking about the seal. All right, and it's talking about how the corporation can sue and be sued. All right. It says in section 3, it said, be it enacted that the mayor of the town of Memphis shall be elected by the citizens of said town who are qualified by the present law to vote for aldermen, and the elections be held and vote received in the respective wards. Wards. We're going to get back to that ward thing. Respective wards at the time and in the manner prescribed for the election of aldermen. Be it enacted that the mayor of said town of Memphis shall have the powers and exercise the functions of a justice of peace, and that he shall have the jurisdiction within the limits of said town, and that the town constable be authorized to execute all processes issued by said mayor. Be it enacted that the limits of said town of Memphis be extended so as to include the space now lying between the present eastern boundary of said town and the western margin of Bayou and Gacio. Let me tell y'all something. Let me stop. I'm about to stop. I'm about to explain something. Now, if you know anything about when you claim property or land, you got to be very, very precise and particular about what piece of land, using longitude and latitude lines. Like you just not just street names, longitude, latitude, directional. You got to be on point. You got to be precise. This is what they're doing in their charter. They're making the claim because why? The people gave up their power. Listen, check it out. Be it enacted that the limits of said town of Memphis be extended so as to include the space now lying between the present eastern boundary of said town and the western margin of Bayou and Gacio. That's a street from its mouth to the point of its intersection with Union Street extended. This is like the downtown, the corporate downtown area that they're speaking about. They're telling it in their charter. They're making this claim because the people gave up their right. We got to stop giving up our right. I got to wake up. We got to stop giving up the right. But wait till I tell you what year this was created. That's where it gets funny. It's like, what the year? It says an act to enlarge the corporation laws of Memphis. That highlighted section, look at that top highlighted section right there. An act to enlarge the corporation laws of Memphis. Section 1, be it enacted by the General Assembly of the State of Tennessee that the town of Memphis shall have all the corporate rights, privileges, and capacities that are given by the various laws to the Corporation of Nashville, which is the so-called capital. Any law to the contrary notwithstanding. This was in 1829, but the city of Memphis was incorporated in 1819. So they were making this stuff over 100 years ago, well over 100 years ago. All right, well over 100 years ago. But it gets more interesting. It gets more interesting. This is where it gets real interesting because it's talking specifically about the people now. This is in the 1819 charter for the city of Memphis and Shelby County. Section 30, it says to provide for the arrest and confinement until trial of all riotous and disorderly persons within the city by day or night, to authorize the arrest and detention of all free Negroes, slaves, or suspicious persons found violating any ordinance of the city. All right. So you got to think about what they've done. They made a claim. All right. It goes back to the cheating thing. All right. Since the original people abandoned their rights, abandoned their land, abandoned their name, hey, the state come in and guess what? Since you don't want that couch on the corner, I'll take it to my house and I'll sit on it. All right. You don't want it? Hey, I'll get it. That's what they've done. You abandon it, they're claiming it. It's all about the superior claim, people. To authorize the arrest and detention of all free Negroes, slaves, or suspicious persons found violating any ordinance of the city, to regulate the time and circumstances at and under which slaves and free Negroes may be absent from their respective places of abode, and direct the punishment by fine and imprisonment, or either for the breach of such regulations. All right, but notice where they say free Negroes, slaves. All right, it's right there. They letting you know. They letting you know. But meanwhile, we asleep. We asleep. Now, anybody out there, I don't know, but anybody out there got my non-charge dismissed without attorney DVD? If you do, say something. If you do, say something. Let me know. Let me know if you got it. Brother Casper, Moors are free if they want to be, but a lot of Temple Moors are still slaves. Well, I mean, you know, I'm not really going to comment too much on that, but it is what it is. Okay, Brother Nasir, you say, I do. Okay. What did you get out of that DVD, Brother Nasir? Tell me in your own words. Brother King Bay, it doesn't mention Moors. I've got it. Yeah, it doesn't say Moor, but it's saying free Negroes. We know what they mean when they say Negro. We know exactly what they mean. So if they say free Negroes, how are they free? You feel me? Like, how are they free? You know, let's go in specifics. Let's go in detail. All right, Marino Bay, you always keeping the Moors thinking and learning more. Appreciate that. Appreciate that more. Islam to you. I just want to let y'all know and just, I want y'all to be conscious of house corporations. We hear this we hear this all the time, that it's a corporation. But how? Oh, what is this? What is the charter? What is the seal? How is it all combined? What is it? Who gave them authority? Like, where did it come from? When? Where? Right? Jurisdiction. The jurisdiction. No doubt. No doubt. Okay, but anyway, all right. In that particular DVD, I kind of go into the charges or whatever. And I got the charges right here to show all the noli prosequi, and I got all that stuff right here. You know, you would have to see the DVD to actually understand it all, but I got it all right here. And you know, why I fought him or whatever. You can see all the charges right there. You feel me? You can see that right there, you know. But not only that, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 6 charges. And then here's another one. All you gotta do is look it up. Look up these law terms, noli prosequi, right? That's 7. And then right here, two felonies. This was back in the day though. 2 felonies. And what did it say? What did it say? What did it say right there, y'all? Dismiss, lack of prosecution, right? And then on the DVD, I even show you how it was stamped by the federal court and how I went in and did all that old good stuff, you know. So it ain't, this is just for the Moors that haven't seen the DVD. I just gave you a little quick overview. But on the DVD, I actually break it down and I show you, you know, like it really shows, you know, really good camera editing, all that old stuff. But anyway, we got to know this stuff, you know. We got to understand what a charter is. We got to understand what a corporation really is. How did they get their powers? You know, they got it through the people abandoning their birthrights. Like, that's why I say I got to give a shout out to the brother Tariq for standing. If more Moors stood up and stood they square like that brother, you know, in that field, in that realm, we'll be all right. We'll be all right instead of being pushed around and slapped across the head and DDT and, you know, all that old bull S. You know, we shouldn't have to go through that. You know, we shouldn't have to deal with these police like that. You know, if a brother come up to you with a pistol, then it's a different story. Then you'll go all out with him. You know, and I'm not engaging or inciting violence. I'm just giving you a synopsis of what it really is with our people, man. I'm tired of it. I'm really tired of it. And we got to wake up. We got to wake up. No doubt. Y'all got any questions? Holler at me. I'm live right now. Come at me. If I can answer it, I can answer it. If I can't, we'll look it up. Let's do it. Give me something. Give me something. Come at me. Islam, Brother Jerry. I agree with that. Y'all hit that thumbs up. We got 50 people watching, but we only got 35 thumbs. Hit the thumbs up. You know, one love to you. I just left Khalifa territory. I love it out there. I love it out there. They said they burned our courthouse where our claims were. Well, you know, traditionally we would keep it in the temples, you know. I mean, Brother Tram, I mean, think about it, you know. That's really where we're supposed to keep all of our information. How I file a claim against principal. That's too deep, brother. You got to email me on that. Ain't no way I can tell you all that. You know, it's too much. Or get the public officials bond book. I show you exactly what I did. Okay, thank you much. I must rewatch and find out what charter means because there was a bunch of schools here in Philly with charters. Again, the charter is just is granted from the state Senate and the House of Representatives of what a particular corporation can and cannot do. All right, that's what it is. You know, mainly like the cities. Mainly like the cities because they all have it and they try to keep it away from the public. They try their best to keep it away from the public because they don't want you to know what it is that they're exactly obligated to. Because again, like I read in the words and phrases with the charter, it ceased. You know, if their charter is not, if they're not in line with their charter, rather, the entire thing ceased. All right. Peace, brother. Do I have to sue my child's mother in order to get a refund from DSC? I'm gonna tell you like this, bro. I wouldn't be trying to sue her. You know what I'm saying? I would try to talk to her like a man. You know, I would try to talk to her like a man. If you can't talk to her like a man, move forward. You know, don't look from anything from them. You know what you want. You want Federal Reserve notes? That's what you want? Tell me what you want. That's what you want. Try to talk to her, you know. If you talk to her, man, like civilized adult, if she don't want to talk, that's her child. You know, that child came out of her. You know, you had something to do with it, but she made it. So just, hey, let time prevail. What's the provost marshal? Do we need to send him any paperwork to notify him? Yes, you can. You know. You know what? Honestly, I never really. I went that route a couple of times. That's like a military. That's like the head military police, brother Casper. You know, so yeah, you can. I would say do so. I've done it maybe back in the day, but I haven't done it, you know, lately. But yeah, the provost marshal is like the head chief of the military police. How does a Moor go about getting a job with their free national name and have no social security number? Would you have any document templates of contract of hire or how to be an independent contractor? Well, I mean, it depends on what you do. You know, if you're trying to work for somebody, most of the times you're going to need that SSN, unless you really enjoy fighting. You know, you have a long, drag out battle, so it's up to you on what you want to do with that. If you're trying to work for them, just reserve your rights. If you have to use your social security number, reserve your rights um, without recourse. You know, just put without recourse. You know, so you won't be liable. That's the whole thing. You know, through your signature. Hopefully, you're national. Um, just learn to live within the contracts. That's true, brother Nasir. That's very true. Live within the contract. How about the FIN number? I don't know anything about that. You can school me on that. I've never dealt with it. What is it? Tell me. Um, Islam. Islam. Oh, okay. He said EIN. Okay, yay. Brother Anthony, if you would just email me, man. Publishinfo@gmail.com. Email me and we can kind of go into a little bit because that's kind of lengthy too. You know, it just depends on exactly how you want to operate. Brother Walter Bay has a video of how to get a job with EIN. I mean, people do that. You can do that, you know. It's what fits you, you know. Jerry Blaze, Popo come to the car screaming, guns out. Any wrong moves is over. I honor my ancestors, found the prophet. My mindset changed. My frequency now, I barely run into police. Hey, I agree with that, bro, because I don't see them myself. You know, let alone like getting behind me or something like that. I don't even see them. So with that high frequency, you won't even attract them because they're on a very low vibrational frequency. The police, they're very evil. They're very evil. They have evil souls. To even work that job, you got to be an evil person. Your soul have to be like that big, like for real. If you don't believe me, test them and just test them on the side of the road if you don't believe me, and then you'll find out. Test them on the constitutionality of things, and you'll see for yourself. Yeah, I want to get my money back. Okay, is this the brother about? Oh well, yeah, okay, you the brother. Okay, earlier. Well, I'm gonna tell you like this, bro. When you are dealing with this portion of law, never expect anything. Stop worrying about quote unquote money, man. It's not money. Money is gold and silver, man. You got to get your mind right. You know, you talking about Federal Reserve notes. You know, you're talking about paper. You know, that's not money. It doesn't back anything. Stop worrying about money, man. You know what I'm saying? It's the principle. You know, what you call money. Stop. Don't worry about that. Try to talk to your child mother. If you can talk to her, you know, if she got any sense, y'all can talk about it. You know, if you got any sense, talk to her. You know, you shouldn't have to get anybody in your business. Just talk to her, man. It's y'all child. When y'all was screwing, you know, you didn't have to go to the court when y'all was screwing. The court wasn't sitting there watching y'all bang. So talk to her, man. Get the people out your business. For real. Get them out your business, man. Start a self-owned business. Yeah, I agree with that, man. You know, if you got your own thing you do, you know, invest in it. You know, All right, we got all of the heart in the world when we fight each other, but are scary as hell with diametrically opposed enemies, bro. I'm ready to link with all those standing on those five principles, Islam to that. I had a more question me as to why I was looking to have two witnesses for a judicial notice proclamation. Why would they question you? Do you know why they question you? I mean that's kind of weird, you know. And as we speak, we got a troll commenting on the Tariq video saying it was a fake, you know. But like I said, we all know what's up, you know. Um, it is what it is, man. People don't want this, you know. People don't have the heart. Islam to you, sister El Barbara Bay. Much love to you. People don't want this truth. They can't handle the truth, you know. That's why I don't, you know. At the very beginning, I would do response videos. And I saw where I said, you know what, it doesn't make sense anymore, you know, because I've already spoke the truth. So why should I do response video after response video after response video? Now I'm the goddamn idiot. Excuse my language. But now I'm the fool, you know. So instead of doing that, I put it out there, boom, one time, make a classic video, and people just view it. And those that know it to be the truth, they come along the truth train. All right. That's what it is. Um, Use our religion non-profit status to set up business and YN. Okay, direct it to me if you're talking to me, so I can know if you're talking to me or not. That's right, bro, Marino. That video is true. His words proves he understood what he was saying. Yeah, most definitely. Somebody said that. I edit the video, and hey, we have some our people. We have more of our people on our side that criticize the thing that we do than Europeans. I deal with Europeans all the time, you know, on a business level, and I don't have the issue that I have with Europeans having with my own kind, other Moors, conscious or unconscious, you know. And it's sad to say, but it's the truth. It's the truth. All right, people don't want to let that ophie of lies go. Yeah, they don't have the heart, brother. They don't have the heart. Hit my inbox up if anyone is willing to build with me in Philly and abroad. Please remove your fear first. Hey, y'all heard him. Me not know, no fear link up. Now I'm gonna tell y'all. I'm gonna tell you something. That's funny. Y'all say that about the linking up thing. Me myself, I don't really. I gotta be kind of comfortable to meet up with somebody. You know, I don't really trust people like that, but I just gotta be kind of comfortable. And I had a situation with a brother out of my territory that wanted to meet, and the way he approached me by way of email and how he came at me, I didn't really want to meet him like that. I've already met him once before, but it was kind of like on an accident type of thing. But after that, it was almost like he was stalking me. And the meeting thing, I just kind of let the great God Allah guide all that, you know, with me, because it's hard to trust people these days. And I'm not discouraging anyone to meet. If that's what you decide to do, you're an adult. You can do what you want to do. But me, I try not to, you know, jump in that trend and just bounce around. And, you know, that's how people get you sometimes, you know. And I feel like I'm a hot commodity, you know. I'm just being real with you. I'm a hot commodity and I don't know who might want me. And I be weird things going on sometimes. And, you know, I already have a healthy sense of paranoia. So I just don't do it like that. If you see me, hey, it's good. We're going to dap, we're going to hug. It's what it is. You feel me? We thank you for your response to interact with us. No doubt. I told y'all I was going to start interacting right with you, you know. I spoke with you, Sister Barbara, I think a while back. I can't remember what it was about, but I remember I remember your thumbnail and I remember the appellation. But we kind of, I can't remember what we were building about, but I remember your appellation. I'm into doing the hard things. Loving everybody is hard sometimes. That's true, Brother Jerry. I agree with that. That's understandable, bro. No doubt. I mean, I ain't funny acting. Don't get it wrong now, because when I do run into people, it's all good. We laughing. We might eat some, however it go. But I just don't really plan and go out and meet people. If I see you, it's good. But the planning thing, I just don't. I don't feel comfortable with it. With letting somebody know exactly. Okay, I'm gonna be here. That's why I'm gonna tell you something. That's one reason why I really don't do the lectures. I can do lectures if I want to, and all across the land, people email me all the time. If I was so money hungry, like some people try to make it look like, oh yeah, he just want the money, he just want the fiat, he robbing the people, he doing this. If I were robbing you, tell me now. If I robbed anybody out there, come out at me. Tell me right now on this live. If I robbed you, you tell me if I robbed you. But when you tell me, you got to come with that proof, baby. You can't just say I robbed you. You got to come with that proof, right? So again, I could do lectures if I wanted to, all day, every day. But one reason I don't do them is because I don't just trust people like that. I ain't saying people, dishonest. That's just me. I grew up in an environment that kind of got me where, I'm focused on certain things. So if I was all about the quote unquote money, like some people say, I could do it all day, every day. It wouldn't be a problem. You haven't robbed me. You have replied to my emails and in a timely manner. Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. That's what I'm talking about. Because that's true. That's how I do everybody. I trust the ancestors got me, bro. They do. How do I proclaim my nationality? Hey, you got to declare it. It got to be in your heart. And then you put it on the public record. Make a public announcement. Put it in writing. Understand who you are. Know who you are. Know that this is Morocco. Know that you're a Moorish American national. You feel me? Moreno Bay saved me, no doubt. I appreciate that, bro. That's real. That's real. I like that. So, I mean, again, you judge a person by their character, not by what you think about them or what somebody said, hearsay. You judge them by how they treat you or their character. That's how you do it. Declare and proclaiming starts in knowing who you are. That's right, brother. I email you too. I was shocked you got back to me. I give thanks. Man, I get back to everybody as soon as I can. Like now I ain't gonna lie to you, like sometimes people emails just straight BS. And sometimes I get back to them, but some of it is just not even worth the time to get back to, but most, I would say 90 to 95% of the time I get back with people like right away. Further info on child support. Be a little more specific. Be just a little more specific. That's a hot topic. That's a huge topic. I would say get the foundation first. Study Prophet Noble Drew Ali, Message to America, Plea to a Nation, Divine Warning. Understand who Prophet Noble Drew Ali was and his mission, his aims. Understand that first. Get the foundation. All right. You get the foundation first of nationality. And from there, you slowly crawl into the law aspects if you wish. Some people just try to jump into the law aspect of it, but they're not disciplined enough to, to control themselves from certain things that the world have to offer, the worldly things. Okay, brother, Sister Barbara Bay, I spoke to you when a infiltrator was pretending to be you on Facebook when you didn't have an account. That's right. I remember that. And he went by, he actually went by maybe Mario Bay, I believe. Yeah, I remember that. I most definitely remember that. But I've never had a Facebook account. Never had a Facebook account. How to stop the fraud on Title 4D loans. I don't know what that is, bro. Like for real, I have no idea what that is. 4D loan. I don't know. I beat the child support stuff. You can go to my video and check that video out. My child support video. I got a video showing exactly how I did it, so go check that video out. I don't know what the 4D loan is. I deal with, that's foreign to me. I deal with treated, Constitution, international law, all of this, that type of stuff, I really don't get it. You know, that's not what did it for me. They got a fake Taj Tariq Bey Instagram page right now. Sad. Yeah. Child support by SSC administration. Like I said, go to my child support video, check it out. But I'm telling you right now, anytime you contact me by way of email, I let you know right off top. Well, I asked this question, and if anybody can vouch, let me know right now. I say, where are you in your studies? That's like one of the first things I ask you. The reason is because I want to know where your mind is. You know, I want to know whether you're one of these people that just want to get off something, or where are you? You know, because that's a whole nother ball game. I talk about it a lot, but I got the right to talk about it because I went through the trenches, you know. I've been locked up. I've been put in a hole. I can talk about it. I can talk about marriage. I got a video on Moorish Americans marriage. Go check it out. If y'all having relationship problems, go check out my video on Moorish Americans and marriage. I can talk about that. I'm qualified to talk about it because I was married within the state years ago. And I got that dismissed as well, you know, out of the way. You know, I can talk about these things. I'm qualified because I'm a soldier. I ain't scared. Respect, family. Great live. Appreciate it. Appreciate that, brother Ray G. Appreciate it. Study, 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 and be ready to understand who you are and who they are at child support. And good advice, sister. Good advice. Good sound advice. Y'all hit that like button. Come on, hit that like button. I see it, 59 viewers. Y'all got 47 thumbs up, though. Hit them. Hit them for me. Much love to the real Islam. Okay, Brother Casper, at Moreno Bay, be my first year, and I am further than dude who been in temples or in this movement over 3 years. Hey, I'm gonna say it like this, man. It's no competition thing, Brother Casper. All right. I see you out here, you know, I trust me. I see you, and sometimes it seems like it's a competition to you, you know, respectfully, but it's not a competition, man. You know, we learn at different paces, you know. That's why I told the brother earlier that I don't know what the 4D loan is. I have no idea. And I've been on this information for a long time. So it's really not about that, brother. You know, just, you know, be cool, be relaxed. It's all good. It's all good, man. Brother, you have many videos of various topics, and the way you present the information is why I mess with you, brother. Thank you, brother Nasir. I see you, bro. Yeah, are you near the Georgia territory? I know your appellation, but you know, I try to remember, you know, are you near the Georgia territory or Virginia maybe territory? I'm not sure. I know the appellation off top. Okay. Is it important to pull these corporation charters to use it in our defense? I think it's a good defense mechanism. I think so. I mean, because it'll give you more. It give you a more of a, I guess, an outline of what their duties and obligations is within that corporate body, Sister Barbara. Okay, I was arrested, kidnapped as a child, and prepared my own appeal and briefs, and was denied and told that I was colorable. Yeah, my father, we was looking at his birth certificate. This was about, I guess, about a year and a half ago, and I told him, I said, "Go get your birth certificate. I want to look at it." So on my father's birth certificate, it had color, and I went to I had my law dictionary with it, and I showed my father this, and he was like, you know, he was like, "What the?" You know, I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "How are you colored?" You know, so that's what they labeled you at a certain period of time. I think my father was born in the early 50s. So during that period of time, yeah, that's what they identified you as, colored, whatever the hell that is. Of course, we know what it is, but I'm just being sarcastic. I can't see the like button now. What happened? Islam today, most definitely, most definitely. I really appreciate all y'all coming in. I normally don't do the lives on. I think today is Monday, I believe. I don't think I ever do them on Mondays, but I just like to pop up and do them sometime. I don't like doing them every single day. I don't want to burn y'all out. I just like to kind of, sporadically get them out here, so y'all won't get tired of me. I don't want y'all to get tired of me, so that's why I kind of put them here, put them there, boom. All right. For murder a few times, I exhausted all remedies. Okay. I don't know what that means. I have no idea who he's speaking to. I'm clueless, but at least I tried. All right. Okay. Hey, y'all got any more questions? Like I said, I like to share it as always. Hey, I'm right here. Get at me right now. This is the 101. This is the lecture. I don't have to go and I'm not knocking anybody that, does it that way. I'm just saying I don't, I don't really do it that way, but I feel cool doing it this way. That was funny to read. I like to share it as always. I appreciate that, sister. Appreciate that. Yeah, I see y'all got the likes up. I appreciate that. No doubt. But yeah, again, oh yeah, you know what? I just thought about something. Now, at the beginning of the video, we've already proved that Prophet Noble Drew Ali spoke in regards to why we should enforce law. Like that's no, I mean, hey, come on, that's a no-brainer. That's a no-brainer. So if anyone tell you Prophet Noble Drew Ali didn't say that, he said it, in his word. Now, as far as just jumping out here, I'm gonna tell y'all again, like I always say. Don't just jump out here and start trying to enforce. Be intelligent. Be intelligent. All right. Be very intelligent. I thought of an analogy earlier regarding. I'm gonna give you an example. Now, you know how you got some people that'll say, "Well, when you do that, they'll do this." Okay, well, sometimes that come with the territory, right? Some things just come with the territory. And they say, "Well, no, that's wrong because they're getting people incarcerated. They're getting people killed. We're not getting anyone killed. Certain things happen for certain reasons. It's unfortunate, but it's sort of like the engineers and contractors that build skyscrapers and bridges across the body of waters. All right. Those guys, those women, whoever that's building those bridges, those skyscrapers, they fall to their deaths all the time, especially in the beginning stages of those buildings. Well, in the olden days. All right. Now you wouldn't say that, well, you shouldn't do that job because you might fall to your death. No, it's just certain people are built for certain things, and then sometimes certain things happen, but you really can't blame it for that. Some people have certain skills to do something. Some people have a certain mindset to execute things. All right. It's not for everybody. So listen to me because I got experience. I'm telling you, if you come out here and try something like what some of these Moors do prematurely, of course you're going to have exactly what happened to you, what some of those people say. But sometimes you can learn from it, but sometimes you will not learn from it. Reason is because you wasn't studied enough. All right. So that's why I say never enforce prematurely. And again, if I was one of those guys that was straight about the loot, I wouldn't give a what about people, because people, that's mainly what people email me about. I'll just say, well, look, give me that right there, and then I'll tell you, yeah, give it to me, and then I'll tell you. See, I don't do that. I always ask people, where are you in your studies? And then I give them my opinion on what they should do and what they should not do. And if I know for a fact they're not ready, I always tell them, you're not ready. Get back in the lab and study. I'm currently on probation. Does this limit my ability to execute a declaration of nationality and name change? You limit you. See, that's what I'm talking about. You limit yourself. You know, do you have, okay, I got a question for you. Do you have a hand? Do you have fingers? Do you have a pen and paper that you can actually write on with your hands and fingers? If you do, you're good. One don't play with it, that's for sure. That's true. Islam Noble, thank you. All the jewels you've dropped in every video. Appreciate that. Man is mine. I agree with that. That goes back to the 7 Hermetic principles. Well, definitely, King Bay. But again, we limit ourselves, you know. So if you want to declare your nationality, declare it in your heart first. This is where it starts. It starts here, you know. You know, it's synonymous. It starts here. Do it there first and know who you are. Once you do that, the next thing you need to do, if you want to move further, make a public announcement, put it in writing, and let these local corporate people and so on, let them know. You don't need a response. That's why it's a notice. You don't need a response. People say all the time, well, they don't have to respond. It's a notice. All right. These corporate securities are proud to say they don't have bond, especially near North Carolina. Well, they can say it all day, but most likely they do. I think, I don't know if you got my book, sister, but in my book, I even show and expose how I contacted by email and they respond like quickly. Well, I talked to them on the phone first at the state level, and I was asking for bond information, and they sent me back a lot of information, letting me know where the bond information could be. It all depends on who you're dealing with. But again, you're not ready for that, because if you go after their bonds, you're going after their finance, and guess what? They're coming after your finance. How do I know? Because they tried me years ago. But why didn't they get me? Because I don't have anything in my name. They couldn't get me. All right. That's why. All right. That's another thing we need to learn how to do, you know, as Moors, learn how to operate privately. But that's a whole nother topic, you know. In real estate, everyone is a tenant. Just just a tenant. Keyword is real estate. Mind is powerful thoughts, RCs. That's true. That's true. You're welcome. You're welcome, fam. You're welcome. I appreciate y'all coming in, but I'm gonna go into these corporations. I want y'all to hear something else. I got a few more definitions I want to read from Corpus Juris Secundum. Corporations. Corporations. Just give you a quick. You from Baton Rouge? I don't know if you're talking to me or somebody else, Brother Marino. You sound and look so chill. I feel chill and relaxed. Good. I am chill. Yeah, a lot of people say, well, you know, I'm down here toward the Memphis territory, so yeah, well, our accent's kind of like, you know, no, I'm not. No, I'm not from Baton Rouge. I'm from the Memphis territory. I've seen brothers use the right words, and these human traffickers let them go. Like, wow, yeah, that's true. You know, I mean, even when you come real, sometimes they'll go and get you. So, I mean, it's all about it's a fear thing. That's how they control. That's how they do social engineering. That's how they control you. They keep you in fear, and they can control you. So even if you're saying something right, and they come at you, and you scared, I mean, what you do next, right? So you got to stand on the square. That's where standing on the square coming from. Firmly on that square. You know, I told y'all about the symbolics that I saw in their courthouse. I saw a square that was taped, a black, like electrical black tape that was taped in a square right behind, I guess, the bench, right where you walk up to the magistrate. And what they do is it's on the ground. And when they tell you to stand up, come up, they want to see, are you going to physically stand on the square? You know, that's some Masonic shit. Excuse me. That's Masonic though, but that's what they're trying to see. They're trying to see if you're going to stand on the square so they can know how to deal with you. All right. So again, this is what it is. Okay. The brother in the traffic stop video handed the cop a paper. What document was that? It was about his personal liberties. That's all. Are you still at the Memphis, Tennessee territory? Most definitely I am. Most definitely. This is my home. You know, I ain't leaving nowhere. I like to travel though, but I ain't leaving nowhere. Thank you for answering my previous question. No doubt, you're welcome. What paper and document? No, that was Sister Barbara. That was the brother Tariq, the video I uploaded yesterday on the travel. That was just that was something I guess he came up with, describing his personal liberties that he was handing the policy enforcers to let them know, hey, just read this, you know. Hey, I ain't really got to say too much. Just read this. You feel me? All right. A corporation, which is an artificial entity, may not appear in court pro se or in propria persona, but must be represented by counsel, except in small claims proceedings or in shareholder derivative actions. All right. Now I'm gonna break that down real quick, and I'm gonna read it again after I break it down. You know how you get something in the mail, right? And it says, okay, it might be a bill, it may be a summons from a corporate courthouse, whatever it may be, right? It may say it's from the city of Jacksonville or the city of St. Louis, right? Or it might say the city of Los Angeles. When it says that, they're protecting themselves. Who is they? Who are they? Who protecting themselves? The people that work for the corporation, because they're not going to be liable. All right, they're not going to be liable. That's why they put the corporation in front, the corporate entity in front, and then they shield themselves behind the corporate entity. Okay, this is what they do. All right, because the corporation can sue and be sued. So they would prefer if you sue the corporation so they won't have the liability. You got to know this. So I'm going to read that again. It says, a corporation, which is an artificial entity, may not appear in court, pro se or in propria persona, but must be represented by counsel, except in small claims proceedings or in shareholder derivative action. So if you ever in one of those, in one of their courthouses, and the state, you know how they love to say, well, the state took up my case. Who the fuck is the state? Excuse my language, because I'm trying to stop using profanity. Who is the state? What do they look like? Where are they? Can we see them? Can we see them, right? So anytime someone says, well, the state is going against you, the state versus, matter of fact, on what, you know what, I'm gonna prove it to you. I'm gonna prove it to you. When I had to fight them, it says, I'm gonna look on here, and it says something about the state. Yep, right here. Look where my finger is. It says the state versus Mario, right? Right? That's what it says. The state versus Mario. How? So, but there was no counsel for the state. So what they're betting on me to do is to either pay for one of their state attorneys, and attorneys ain't worth the garbage that's in a garbage can, the garbage juice on a hot summer day. They ain't worth that. All right. If you can fix your own car, fix your own car. All right. Why worry about a mechanic that's gonna screw you when you can fix your own car? Right? So that's the thing with this law. Enforce law when you know to enforce law. Once you've gotten the foundation, enforce law. That's how it is. So the state or the city, whoever got a claim against you, you have to have a real physical being that has an affidavit under oath stating that it was you. All right. Not a corpse. That's why I'm reading this. I'm going to read it one more time. It says a corporation, which is an artificial entity, may not appear in court pro se or in propria persona, but must be represented by counsel except in small claims proceedings or in shareholder derivative actions. Because people generalize this stuff and they say, well, oh, that's a corporation. Person means corporation, but they don't get deep into it. You know, they don't get deep into it. A corporation possesses implied and inherent power to elect directors and other officers and agents to govern its affairs and conduct its business. It said its business. It is an it. All right. A corporation possesses implied and inherent power to elect directors and other officers and agents to govern its affairs and conduct its business. A corporation has powers which are expressly granted by the charter or by statute, and such power clauses indicate the manner in which corporate purposes may be pursued. In addition, powers which are incidental to corporate existence are always implied, even in the absence of enabling statute or law. Where no powers are given to a corporation in its certificate of incorporation, only a stated purpose, the only incidental powers which such corporation would have under the common law are those which are necessary to effect its purpose. You got to know what a corporation is. That's why I'm going in on corporations and charters. People think corporations are just like grocery stores or Walmart or Walgreens or McDonald's or Whole Foods. They think those are only corporations, but they don't realize what we spoke about earlier. These are corporations as well. I love Cannon Land Moors. Who don't know about them? I'm speaking in natural person, not video. No doubt. Islam to that. Let me see your charter. That's right. All right, check this out. I got something that's real sweet about a corporation. Listen to this. This to further let you know that it's an artificial entity. All right. And they know it. They know it. It says right here, it says, taking an oath. A corporation cannot take an oath or make a sworn statement, but in general, the duly authorized agent of a corporation may do so. I'm going to say it again. A corporation cannot take an oath or make a sworn statement, but in general, the duly authorized agent of a corporation may do so. So you got to understand, people, this is how they create that fear in you by saying the big bad state of California is after you. The big bad United States of America is after you. It's just a corporate entity on paper. That's it. Have you ever thought about that? Just a corporation on paper that it has to have some type of authorized representative representing it, speaking for it. Okay. Got to. I'm coming out of corporate juris secundum, baby. I'm showing you. Corporate juris secundum. This deals with positive law. They can't break this. They can't break us. The Moors that study this, they cannot break us. That's why R.B. Bay has been under attack. That's why Moors like myself been under attack. That's why Brother Cujo been under attack. That's why all of us been under attack, because they can't break this. They can't break this. This is real. They can't break it. They cannot break this information. This is the truth. Who would ever known brothers and sisters would be online with their feds on, speaking this real truth about this in Morocco? Who would ever know? 10 years ago, I would have never guessed it, because I didn't know. I didn't know. I appreciate y'all coming out, man. I see I got 71 views. Hit that thumbs up, man. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate it. Tell the U.S. to come and testify. Yeah. No injured party, no crime. That's true. If more people understood this, then things would be a lot different. You know, but people don't get it. They don't understand that. For example, like the brother just stated, no injured party, no crime. You know, they've been scared into thinking that certain things are crimes when they're not a crime. You know, it may be just some type of civil infraction in their world, you know, and we know how to handle it. You know, we know how to handle it. Like I always say, when you're dealing with the federal district courts, they really have their main thing is dealing with admiralty. That's where it's at right there, admiralty. And you remember we spoke about that, you know, dealing with navigable, you know, waters and seas, and rivers and lakes, especially in the Americas. You know, all of that, especially like when you're dealing with the treaty, all of that's admiralty, that's maritime. You know, that's what they were dealing with. And then when you get back on the land and, you know, when they kidnap these brothers and sisters or whatever, that's when they get what you call booty. You got booty and prize. You know, booty would be the enemy caught at war on land, and prize would be the opposite, at water. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it is. That's what it is. And you hear you look at the pirate movies, and you hear them say booty. You hear them say prize. That's what it is. They're talking about admiralty. They're talking about this right here. I see Brother Tram said, if you go to court, go deep. Yeah, if you can go deep, especially with them feds is on. Constitution is for the land. Yeah, I mean, well, if you've been specific, if you say American Constitution, yeah, most definitely. It would be mainly for those corporate entities or those foreigners that we've given permission to be on this land, to keep them in check. Undeclared Moors are declared dead at sea until proven otherwise. Yeah, they're Moors, you know, no doubt, but hey, they got to come out and say it. You go to courts 33 deep, no doubt. I love that number 33. Matter of fact, look at my video on 333. I went into that. Go to my video when you get a chance and look at the video 333. I go into that number, the symbolically on that number. There are phrases such as victimless crimes. Yeah, if you adhere to it, if you adhere to a victimless crime, yeah, no doubt. Admiralty is for the seas. That's true. That's true. That's most definitely true. Yeah. Watch that video. You know, that's on another level though, but that's for those that are, you know, on that level. But I spoke about that. You got this chat popping, no doubt. Y'all popping. It ain't me, y'all popping. You know. Duly authorized agent equals prosecutor. Still ain't the one claiming you injured them. Ooh, no doubt. And that, you know, that's funny because I can remember years ago when I had to go before the child support tribunal. And man, it was crazy because I was fighting them tooth and nail. I was and during that time I was very aggressive. So I didn't see the window, like Sister Valor would always speak about. I didn't see the window because I'm like, well let's do it. Let's fight. I don't care. Throw me in jail. I don't care. You know, do it, whatever. So they bring me back to court. I'll be talking. And boom, give me 10 more days. And they bring me back. And I'm talking and 10 more days. And then I got tired of that. I said, you know what? I'm finna play the game. I'm finna play chess with them now. So the prosecutor was standing like over to my left. And as I started speaking, what they did, they gave me a piece of paper telling me that I can give up all of my constitutional rights. And I reserved my rights, you know, on the paper. I reserved my rights, like for real. And I put under duress. And the magistrate noticed it right off. So soon as she got the paper, she was a totally different person because I wasn't bucking anymore. You know, I wasn't bucking anymore. I wasn't bucking. So what she said was, oh, she immediately cut off the prosecutor because you know that the prosecutor really can't say anything to you when you're in corporate persona. So she immediately cut the prosecutor off and said, oh, he pays his child support, get him out of here. That's what she said. And it's never been a problem with me of taking care of my children, but that's a private thing. You know, that was just something for them to extort finance from me. But since I played the game, that's why you have to understand how to be honorable to a certain degree so you can get out of there. You know, I know how Moors, I know you get pissed, man, because you got these police, they got these guns and they surround you, talking. Just be cool. Just be cool. Like, I'm gonna give you an example. Like the brother handled it good. Like he was in the car, he handled it good. If they pull up, you know, I'm traveling. And they pull me over. Okay, all right. I put my car in park, however you put it in park, you know. I'm just waiting on him. You know, the brother did good though. He had his hands up. He being good because he didn't want to, you know, seem like he was aggressive. They come to the window. Hey, how you doing today? Say, hey, how you doing, man? What's going on? We saw you, you know, you were speeding or you ran the stop sign. Oh man, I wasn't really paying attention, man, you know, but what's up, you know? Oh, we want to see, you got your driver's license registration? Oh man, I don't have a driver's license. Oh, you don't? Why not? I mean, I've been exercising my rights to travel for the last 10 years. I haven't had any issues, man. I've been through the district court and whatever. I mean, if you need to see anything like that, I can show you, you know. Well, okay, well, have a nice day. Well, okay, well, let me see it. However, you got to play it right. You got to know how to play it. You know, it's not about all the arguing. Let them speak. Let them speak because you got to remember, these guys on the side of the road, they're just doing their job. They're dumb as hell. They don't know. Don't think they know. Don't expect for them to know. Know that they don't know and just play it smoothly because remember, it's a power trip with them. It's a power trip with them. Okay, I know how to give them illusion like they got the power. Okay, like the brother was saying, yes, sir. Okay, that's cool. That's an illusion. That's an illusion. I'll never say yes, sir, to a European. I'll never say yes, sir, to a foreign European. Look, man, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Y'all listen up clearly. Y'all gotta know how to play the game. It's a game. All right. It's a game. If you know how to play the game, you can make it back home. You can see your children, you can see your loved ones, you can go to your job, you can do whatever you're gonna do. All right. Just have sense when you do whatever you have to do. All right. That's how it goes. All right. They don't know. They only train for a couple of months. That's true. No, sis, I don't have any info to share, but the best advice I can give is keep it simple, stick with that national constitution. That's true. And make sure you're in your proper person too. You know, I want to speak to your supervisor. That, you know what? That can go certain ways. That can go several ways when you actually speak for the supervisor. See, the way the brother did it, it worked perfectly for him. Now, if I want to speak to your supervisor, oh, they probably won't go get the supervisor. You got to be smooth, be cool with it, and do what it do. All right. In violation of ethical contract law, a fundamental maxim under threat and coercion, enforcing unum sanctum. Okay. Add up to every situation. Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad y'all come out tonight. And we can share this time and build on charters, corporations, and seals. Hopefully y'all got some out of this, you know. If y'all got something out of it, let me know. You know, let me know how I'm doing on that, you know. As far as like the charters, do y'all really get and understand what charters are now? Or seals? The corporation, do you really get it now? Versus just saying, hey, yeah, the person is a corporation, but be specific. Marie, okay, are you familiar with Agenda 21? I've heard of it. Break it down to me. Break it down to me, Mr. Robinson. Is that some form of social engineering? Maybe? Break it down to me. Okay. Quake Mode TV. What paperwork did you file in district court to travel? it was a series of documents, man. I would have to go back. You have to email me, and I could probably get more into it. But it was a series of documents relating to travel rights. You getting down, bro, Mario? Appreciate that, bro. Appreciate that, Mach 9. Exactly. I'm gonna hit the playback. Appreciate that, no doubt. Definitely social engineering. Okay, that's what I figured. That's what I assumed. I'll look into it. You got anything to send me on it? Send it to me. Send it to my email. I'll check it out. What paperwork can I use to travel abroad instead of U.S. passport? Ah, well, I would say it like this. Don't rush anything. If you have a driver's license, next time, if you feel like you have to renew it, reserve your rights under duress, however you need to do it, all rights reserved, and just relax. Just take it easy because it took a long time for us to get out of. To figure out this situation, and sometimes it takes a minute to get out of it. So I don't want you to rush anything. Don't rush. Rushing is for losers. That's for people that are not organized. So don't rush. Just know that's, for example, if you started a business, you can't rush to bring in profit overnight. It just doesn't happen. Normally it take a few years to really see like major profit. It just all depends on how you market things. So just relax, continue to stay studied, and go from there. Don't jump into the rights to travel stuff. Don't just jump into it. That's a right we have. No, don't get it twisted. I've been traveling with the Morris Place for many years now. So it's a right. I just don't have that issue anymore, because they know what I stand for and they know who I am. Do you recommend putting stamps on documents? I have no idea what type of stamps you are talking about. Are you talking about the 2-cent stamp? If you're talking about the 2-cent stamp, yes, you can do that, but I guess to make yourself like the postmaster, you can do that, but you have to understand why. Go into the DMM of the post office, the post office manual. It's called the Domestic Mail Manual. Look into it, understand everything there is to understand about the post office and how they conduct business, what it is they can do and what they cannot do, even on a international level. All right, start off locally and federal and even on the international level. Because all that stuff can be held up in court. I did a video on that a while back about certified mail being held up in court. I show where I actually walk up in the post office and I asked her. I already knew it. I just wanted y'all to know. I asked the woman, and she was like, "Yeah, it can be held up in court." And I repeated it like 3 or 4 times. The reason I did that so it can get in people's head that this is what you use when you default them. So what you need to know is when you get adept to writing your writs, stop going back and forth with these people. That's a game. I tell people all the time, like, look, everybody listen, all 71 viewers listen to this if you don't know this. All right. When you do, okay, if you're having an issue and you have to write an affidavit, all right, and you place a demand on them via the affidavit. For example, if you write a writ of discovery to a corporation or a magistrate, and you're asking for something, you're demanding something from them, some type of body of information, all right, and you give them a timeline, all right. When they don't respond in that timeline, all right, the reason you're giving them the timeline because it's a part of the maxims of being honorable, all right. When I first started to write writs, I was like the most honorable person on earth. I would give them 30 days every time. And that prolonged, you know what, that helped me though, because that prolonged things that locked up the courts, and it helped me recover from being, injured by way of, when they would lock me up and try to starve me and all that old bull crap, right? But when you write the affidavit, you send it to them, for example, a writ of discovery, and you place a demand on them, or you might be asking for something and you give them that timeline. When they don't respond in that timeline, that's the proof. The default is the proof. you move forward. Do y'all get that? Move forward. Some people say, this is what I get all the time. What do you do next? They didn't respond. Yeah, they didn't respond. You default them. And when you default them, you go to the next level. You don't sit there and go back and forth, because when you continue to go back and forth with them, after you defaulted them, they know you don't know what's up. We got a sucker. Let's put them in our pocket, and stomp on them, do whatever we want to do, spit on them. We don't care about him. When you default them, that's the proof that they're not in honor, and you move forward. What's moving forward? Anybody tell me what's moving forward? Tell me what's moving forward. I want to see if y'all paying attention. What's moving forward? That's one of them. Call schedule, that could be one of them. Moreno, love you, bro. Keep up the good work. Thank you. Thank you. I let them open their mouth first. They usually back themselves in the corner. Yep, that's true. Tell me what's the next step after the default. Because some people, they'll throw a side wrench in the game, and they'll send you something, and they'll throw you off. And if you're new to it, you'll be like, hey, well, I defaulted, but then they sent this. Now they're inviting me to their court. Okay, who cares? Who cares? Yeah, take them to the next level. Yeah, to the next level. Go to the next higher court. Thank you for answering my question. So there is no fraud. And yeah, exactly. That's what you do. See, all of that can be summed up like that. If you know this, or if you understand or understand the procedure. All right, the administrative functional part of it. If you get that, you just move forward. You move forward by going to the higher court. You move forward by a fee scale. It's a lot of stuff you can do. Reporting them. For crimes of genocide. It's certain things you do. That's what you do. You move forward. You don't stand still. When you default them, you move forward. You don't sit there and argue. I don't care what they send you. Their thing is trying to get you back in their jurisdiction. That's why they're sending stuff to you like they own you, like they're God. Y'all better wake up. Supreme Court's notice of removal. That's right. That's what I'm talking about. 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 See, now this is class. That's what I'm talking about. That's this class. Quo warranto. Well, hold on. Somebody said quo warranto. You got to remember, a quo warranto is like a discovery. So it wouldn't really make sense to send out a quo warranto after you default to them. What you would send a quo warranto first, if anything. See, this is what we gotta get this. And I hear you people. That's why we need the law dictionary. Get y'all that Bouvier's, get the Black's Law. All right. You gotta get them so you can know what this stuff means. You gotta know what a writ of discovery is. You gotta know what a writ of error is. You gotta know what a affidavit of amendment is. You know these different names, habeas corpus. You gotta get it. Default judgment, notice of removal. You gotta understand the language. You can't play the game if you don't know the rules. What I look like going on the court and I'm trying to play basketball and I don't know the rules. I'm running with the ball down the court, and they calling traveling on me. I'm like, what? What you mean? I'm shooting, I'm fouling, I'm grabbing people, putting them in the headlock. Oh, he's fouling. I don't know the rules. But once I know the rules, I'm playing good. I'm coming down the court, shaking them and I'm driving them off. You hear me? So that's how it goes. You got to know the game. I tell them I didn't give you permission to contact me. Okay, okay, Quo warranto gets the default judgment. Backwards, yeah. Right question, them may give you favorable replies. You find you know more about law than most of them. Yes, sir, correct that. I know they let me slide one time with that. You don't want to slide with that, bro. Hey, they'll do some crazy stuff, but you don't want to do that. A lot of them don't even know what a quo warranto really is, But the thing is, you really want to be astute and adamant with the understanding of what it is. You got to know, man. I'm talking like for real, you really got to know, because they will play you. They used to play a lot of games with me, but I got to the point where I didn't want to play the game anymore. Okay, Marino, do you ever come to the South Carolina territory? I was out in South Carolina years ago. I've only been once, and it was during a hurricane. I said I'll never go back. You know, we don't have hurricanes out my way, and I didn't like it. You know, at that particular time, I was on the railroad. I used to do a lot of work on the railroad, construction, heavy construction railroad work. And I was out there in the hurricane, and it was not beautiful. One of the trains came off the track. It was crazy. So I'm not sure I will ever be back out there. I don't know anyone out there. So the closest I get to South Carolina is the Georgia territory. Now I'm there all the time. I know plenty of people in that territory. You wouldn't make it international. You wouldn't make it to international court. Who are you speaking to, King Bay? Are you speaking to me? Brother, I'm here at Memphis too. What part of Memphis, bro? What part of Memphis? Are you from Memphis? You wouldn't make it to international court. What do you mean, man? Explain that. Please break that down. But we don't have an Article 3 court. Well, you need to go to Article 3, Section 2. You need to read that. You know, read what it says and enforce what it is. Got to speaking to you. Okay. Bartlett. Are you out there in that's close to Cordova? I used to live in Bartlett years ago. Yeah, I used to live in Bartlett years ago, man. You know what? They don't play out there in Bartlett. You don't find too many people from Memphis, like the hood, coming to Bartlett, because you know they'll get you anytime. They looking for you to come across that sign where it say "Welcome to Bartlett from Memphis," and they gonna try to pull you over. So it's a lot of brothers that don't even go to Bartlett. You know, I used to live in Bartlett, so trust me, I know. I mean, it's cool, but I had to get away. Oh, he was talking to you. Okay, no doubt. Okay, I got you. Yeah, I appreciate y'all coming in and sitting with me for a minute. I wanted to kind of make it lengthy this time, because I know I don't do it that often, and so we could just build on a few things. Before I cut out, if y'all got any more questions, if I can answer it, I'll try to answer it. If I can't, hey, so be it. The DA is violating a brother here in criminal court, so the Supreme Court in NYC is still not de jure. Well, none of them are de jure, but the thing is, what we try to hold them to is their oath. All right. And this is why we ask for certain documents from them to prove that they're not legitimate, so we can move forward. It's not the fact that we're trying to, we're de jure. We're establishing the de jure platform. We're not worried about them. When we court, like I saw the comment earlier by the brother, he said he wasn't speaking to me, but I'm gonna reply to it anyway. I saw something said into effect that you wouldn't make it to the international court. And now I could be assuming, but from what he stated, it sounds like, is this like a physical, like a body appearing overseas in a building? Or like, that's how I look at it, because I've always fought that way. I court by mail. That's how I've always done it. And I have receipts to show, certified receipts, tracking numbers to show that it made it and it was signed for, and things start to quiet down, So hopefully, that things can make it there, via your writ. I need some movies and literature. I'll be on your site soon. Thank you for being active. Okay. Thank you, brother. Like I said, I got a lot of different topics on there. My website is basically remedy based. What worked for me is what I put out there, and it worked for me because I was consistent. That's the only reason. That's the only reason it worked, because I was consistent, not just because I know something, or I was just consistent. I never gave up. And the only reason I do these videos now and these live just to stay sharp, you know, because you can get rusty. It's real talk. Like, I mean, I've never really laid off of it a long time, but not too long. I said a couple of years ago, I laid off for a couple of months, and I just said, you know, forget everything. And I was getting fat and everything, you know. So I was like, oh hell no, I can't do this, you know. So I said, let me get back. I got back on my exercise game and started back eating right, and you know, you got to stay sharp. You know, it's an everyday thing. All right, how do you stop traffic court? Well, you first got to know who you are, and you got to know whether or not. Let me ask you a question. Um, is traffic court legitimate, Sister Rochelle? Your question is, how do you stop traffic court? So my question to you is traffic court legitimate? And if it is, prove it. If it's not, prove it. Or if you don't have the answer, just simply say, I don't have the answer. And then I'll answer you once you give me the answer. That's the only way we can do it. No. I see Yakub say no, it's not. Okay, you said it's not. And it's not. But can you, upon a challenge, can you break that down to them or to one of their superiors? If not, I suggest you go back and study. What's your website? If you're speaking about me, it's publishedinfo.net. publishedinfo.net. If that was for me, that's my website. Read their constitution. Brother Nasir, I see you still hanging in here, bro. Quasi court, yep, quasi court. Yes, quasi. That's right. It's an administrative building. Their state constitution says what type of courts they have. Yeah. Yeah. Well, the state constitution, what's funny is it's framed after the federal constitution. But it's basically like Brother Nasir was saying, it's basically adhering to the state itself. Yeah. Brother Tram. Yeah, no doubt. That's true. That's true. Most definitely. Most definitely true. Yeah, so you know, I hope all is well with y'all, man. I think I'm gonna go ahead and cut out. If y'all got a couple more questions, I stay on just a few more minutes. If not, I'm gonna get on out. So I guess I'm gonna do about another 5, 6, 7 more minutes. So if y'all got any last questions or anything you want me to know or whatever, I got you. I'm still here, brother Marino, and I'm at the job. Oh, that's what's up. That's what's up. If you here that long on the job, you must got a laid back job, like straight laid back. They tried to force a competency test on me. Okay, yeah, they tried me like that too, brother Mark 9. Go to my video, what judges do behind the scene. I show the paperwork and everything. You know, how they try to claim jurisdiction over you behind the scene, all the paperwork that they file within their own system without letting you know. If only you knew, brother. Yeah, I trust me, I know, because I've been on for like for a minute now, and you've been on for a minute, so I know you ain't doing nothing. You chilling. Counselor court. Can we have your thoughts? Counselor court? Oh, okay, counselor court. Well, hey, I'm gonna say it like this: there's a lot of controversy going on right now about the consular court thing, but I got a question for you. I got to throw it back to you. I don't know. Well, I'm gonna ask you this question first. How long have you been watching my video? That's my question first before I answer. Marino, you really, really inspirational, bro. Thank you. I peeped that. Getting compensated a pretty penny for nothing. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Fake signatures and everything. That's true, brother Jerry. Yeah, rubber stamps, all types of stuff. Consul. That's true. That's true. I'm waiting. Hey, you asked me my take on it, so I'm waiting so I can respond how I'm gonna respond. I'm asking you, how long have you been viewing my videos? About the consular court. because it is a lot of controversy that's going on right now about it. See, now you don't want to talk. See, I'm here talking to you, and you don't want to talk now. All right. Okay. Tell everyone what Article 3 courts. Tell everyone what Article 3 courts can give warrants. I'm gonna have to come back. I'm gonna have to marinate on that one, brother. If you can access it in another form, because it's kind of scrolling, the comments scrolling fast on me. At my work, I have dealt with the state and federal tax issue. However, should one push having the SSI and tax removed as well? Whew, man, are you national? That's the question. Before you even go there, are you national? Are you in propria persona? Where are you in your studies? You know, how long have you been in your studies with this? Because that's a real fight right there. Okay. Article 3 courts in Hawaii and DC, that's it. Okay. I know more is some BS. Couple of years. Yes, man, so many comments and everybody's just talking. I don't know who talking to me. I'm just trying to read and assume who's talking to me. I was still waiting on the brother or sister. I'm not sure about the counselor court, which they called it, the consular court or whatever. But they never got back with me. Anybody else got a question about that? Ask them, sir. Can you show me traffic court in the Constitution? I couldn't find it, and see what they say. Yeah, brother Tram, you're most definitely right. The counselor court, that is. Counselor court is consular. It's not counselor. It's a difference. That's the only. Now I know I got an accent, but on this one it's consular, not counselor. It's a difference. How would I reserve all rights online? Okay. What you need to do is this. I'm glad you asked that. That's a good question because they have all these electronic signatures, right? They say just sign here and whatever. Well, the best thing to do is already have something prepared and dated with one of your witnesses showing how you operate and what you go for and what you don't go for. What you reserve, you need to state it in paper, on writing, have witnesses, and have that. So if you do sign an electronic signature and they try to hold you to that, you can show them your prepared writ that was created maybe 2 or 3 years ago and say, well, this is to protect that because I can't do this, according to, by it being an electronic signature. So always have something prepared beforehand. There's a difference between the Article 3 legislative and Article 3 constitutional court. Okay, well, break it down. Tell me, what's the difference? There's a difference between the Article 3 legislative and Article 3 constitutional court. Break it down then, bro. Aquanis, go ahead, break it down. Break it down. You threw it out there, break it down, because I got the book. Watch this. I'm going to show you how thorough I am. I'm already on there, Article 3, Section 2. You see that? I'm always on my P's and Q's, homie. I'm already right there, Article 3, Section 2. So go ahead, break it down. Peace and love. Peace and love to you, our King, Islam Moors. I appreciate y'all staying in as long as y'all been staying in. I still was waiting on the brother. I see he ain't gonna talk about nothing. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna get back with y'all. It was fun. I love this time we shared together. Share the video, go back and look at it again, do whatever it is you do. Peace and love. Hold on. I see one more person. Would it help to write our name, straw man name with the ARR, all rights reserved, so the computer would allow that to be included? If you can do that. Do it. But like I said, it's always good to have something pre-prepared and dated and sign and have your witnesses. So when you have to engage in something like that, you can produce that to protect what you couldn't protect at that time. That's how you do that. Islam, much love to y'all. You know, y'all stay up, stay peaceful, stay positive, stay honorable. Much love to y'all. Peace and love, Moors.